What's up, guys? Dustin McDangles here with another franchise video. I hope you guys are doing well so far this week. I know things are going great for me as well, but I'm just excited to get another franchise video for you guys out here today, as things will be getting interesting here, as we are going to be getting into our first draft ever with the San Jose Sharks. We were able to pick up a first-round pick at the trade deadline of last season in order to have a first-round pick, but we will look to try and trade up today. As looking at the draft board, we really need like a right winger or a left winger, but at the 22 position, things aren't looking great for us. As it looks like a centerman has been scouted, at least for us. Theo Rocket, I don't even know how to say that last name, but things aren't so good for right wingers in the lower picks. So it might be a little tough looking for a sort of forward, but as you can see here also, I'm just looking at our forward depth and defensive depth. Our forward depth is at a C. Everything is neutral, so sort of lacking that like true superstar player, depending on how Evander Kane, Hertl, Meyer, and Couture sort of upgrade once we get into the next season. But as of now, it's not looking great on the on the offensive side of things. But looking at our defensive core, our strength is our top 4 and top 6. We have a solid top 6 all the way up to Ferraro, as I'm assuming him and Heed will sort of upgrade, and maybe Phaneuf, possibly even Vlasic might sort of downgrade. Defensive depth obviously is lacking, so things aren't the best, as hopefully Merkley upgrades a bunch going into this upcoming season. We can sort of bring him up and sort of get him going into the swing of things, as Carlson was injured a ton of last year. He only played 17 games for the San Jose Sharks, and that's not what you want to see from your essentially top player, especially with that salary. So if he has another bad season this year, we might honestly look to trade Erik Karlsson here in the future. But we're actually going to get into the draft right now. But if you guys did miss the last episode, I will leave a card in the top right hand corner right now for you guys to go check that out, just to make sure you guys are all caught up to date. But here we go, guys. We're going to get into our very first NHL draft here with the San Jose Sharks, and see if we can find a way to trade up even to this 8-9 spot. Let's try and see if we can trade with the Edmonton Oilers for the 8th pick overall. We don't have a lot of picks. Karlsson is still technically injured, which is surprising to see. Flyers' first-round pick is 23rd overall. Oh, man, we're probably not going to be able to trade up that far. Oh, man, we're probably not going to be able to trade up that high for a pick here. Let's see where the top right winger sort of lies here for a standing. And it looks like Alexander Holtz, is projected to go 7th overall. And when you move down to sort of like the 20 range, there's a left winger unknown in this Theo Rocher, who had a really good season in his own right, played really well, but he's 3 years out. We sort of want a player who can step in right away, as things, they just don't look so great. As Jamie Drysdale actually would be interesting to see, if we could sort of draft him at that 18 position. But things aren't looking great to try and pick up one of those players, as they would fall around 7 and 8. Oh, man, that is a shame to see. Let's actually see if we can sort of work a trade here with the Edmonton Oilers for their first overall pick. We could even try and move Vlasic if need be, as well as that first overall pick, or not first overall pick, but first round pick from the Flyers, and try and pick up a defenseman out of it from the Edmonton Oilers. Let's take a look here what they have going for them. Darnell Nurse wouldn't be a bad shout at all, as he fits defensive pairing 3. Not what we are looking for. What about Larson? Adam Larson doesn't fit any lines. Roman Pollock, don't really want to trade for him, as Clefbaum just wouldn't be able to fit. So we could try and throw in for Larson there, see if this trade will go through, We would lose Vlasic, but we would open up some cap space to try and sign a free agent defenseman, and the trade is rejected. We might need to sweeten up the deal a little bit here, as we could potentially throw in another future pick. I'm thinking maybe next year's 3rd round pick from the Minnesota Wild might do the trick here, getting this trade done. Edmonton not too thrilled to part ways with what you were asking, but you aren't completely off base. However, this meets our trade block well. To be honest, you'll need to sweeten the value. Sweeten the deal. Let's try and move that to a 2nd round pick even. Yeah, because we could probably trade for another 2nd round pick later on. Let's try and do this because Larson does have 2 years left. He does fit our 3rd line defensive pair. Let's try and see if that works. And they do accept the trade, guys. So Vlasic on his way out the door. We bring in Nurse into the team, and it looks like the St. Louis Blues are going to walk away with Lafreniere, which is kind of crazy to see. Let's see who the Edmonton Oilers select. Finger. 80 overall centerman, elite medium, not too shabby there. Let's see. The Rangers are going to take McClellan, 81 overall. That's pretty cool to see. Let's see, a 63 overall. Interesting. That's sort of a bad pick by the Los Angeles Kings. Lindstrom to the Lightning. Let's keep moving on. Hopefully Raymond is taken. Let's hope the New Jersey Devils don't take who we were looking to get. Oh, they took Holtz right before we were going to take him. Oh, man, that's such a shame because we had high hopes of getting him. But Quinn Byfield has a chance. We could draft him potentially. We don't know much about him. Oh, which is a shame. So Perfetti might be the way to go here. He's 2 years out, though. Oh, man, this is a tough decision. As Stutzel also on the board. Oh, man, this is a really tough one. We could 6'5", 5'10". We could honestly draft Perfetti and move him to a winger spot. As Byfield is just a massive body, 6'5". He wouldn't ever really play a wing position, 17 years of age. Perfetti put up a ton of points in 66 games. Not a lot of goals from Byfield, so we'll actually go with Cole Perfetti. We will go ahead and make that pick for the boys. 72 overall, not terrible. He is 2 years out, but I think overall we sort of made the right play there going with Perfetti. Let's actually see. I'm assuming Byfield will get picked here. He's not. Let's see if he gets picked here at pick number 9. Wow, Byfield is dropping like crazy to the Detroit Red Wings. Medium, elite medium for Perfetti. So we didn't really miss out on anything there regarding sort of missing out on a medium high or anything like that, or elite high with Byfield. So that is good to see that we went with the right pick, and obviously we can move Perfetti over to a winger position since he is 5'10", a little bit smaller. Can take a quick look at him actually. Let's see. 8th overall, great puck skills, good senses, good shooting honestly for an 18-year-old player. Face-off 78, defensive awareness 78. Acceleration and speed are in the 80s, which is good to see. And honestly, his durability is clutch to see, 85, so he might not be getting injured that much, as that will also sort of develop as we get him into our system. Let's see, our next pick isn't until pick 85. Let's take a look at this draft class and see if it is even possible to move up. O'Rourke wouldn't be a bad shout, honestly. He had a pretty decent season, 3 years out. Unless we tried to go all the way up to get Drysdale, who's also 3 years out. But O'Rourke seems like he's going to go around that 22-23 position. We can see if the Boston Bruins want to trade away the 21st overall pick, as the value isn't that high. We can take a look here, see if we can draft another defenseman. We have a ton of 5th-round picks, 7th-round picks, and a lot of stuff in the 2022 draft. Man, you know what? I think we should. Giving up our 1st-round pick 2 years from now might be the way to go here to pick up somebody that we know for a fact will do well in the future. That trade value honestly looks like it is in our favor as well, so might as well try and squeeze out another maybe third-round pick here for this year's draft. See if that goes through. The trade is rejected, so we'll actually take off that pick, see if we can get this first-round pick, and we are able to do so. We essentially swap first-round picks here, as we will go ahead and sim up to pick number 21, and that Rocher was actually taken. Drysdale, unfortunately, went. Foodie taken, so it looks like Rossi was taken too. So let's go ahead and make a pick here. We could go ahead and get another defensive potential player here. Gould, we can't really pick anyone that we don't know about. Let's see if there are any other players here. Williams, right winger, didn't really have a good season. Plus, we didn't really scout him much. So I'm honestly going to go with O'Rourke here. Ryan O'Rourke from the Sioux Greyhounds of the OHL. 6'2", 3 years out. He's obviously not terrible. We'll go with O'Rourke, see what he is. And 64 overall, top 4 D, medium potential, which is honestly not terrible. Pretty decent for a first overall pick, but we can see how he develops, and hopefully he will develop into a good player. But we will go ahead and sim to our third-round pick here and see what goaltenders or what players. Let's take a look here. View draft class. Take a look here at what players are available. Nick Wong, Donovan Sabringo. That is interesting. Medium elite potential. 3 years out. Another defenseman. Let's see. Wong didn't really put up a good season. We could also look here at Martin Lang, a right winger. Put up a decent season in the WHL. 5'11". Not great, but not terrible. The thing is, you want to sort of pick somebody who is getting plenty of ice time. We didn't really scout. 16 minutes of ice time, 18 minutes of ice time, and Sabringo is actually getting 21 minutes. So I'm feeling we go with another defensive prospect here, Donovan Sabringo. Wait. Oh, now we can make our pick now. I was wondering why we couldn't actually make the pick there. So we'll actually go with Sabringo. Elite medium potential. Let's hope it is somewhere around that. 7th defenseman medium. Wow, that's kind of a loss there with that pick. Hopefully he develops well in juniors, but we'll go ahead and simulate up to our next pick here. Fringe starter, that's actually not terrible. We could actually go ahead and look at goaltenders. I know... who's this? Kadobin. 3 years out. I'm not going to look at that, as we'll go ahead and look at goaltenders and see who is really sitting here. And Spezza, Kyle Spezza, sitting here 5 years out. Honestly, we'll go with it. 3rd round pick. He might pan out. 48 overall. Let's hopefully he does pan out. As we'll go ahead and simulate up to pick 199. We have back-to-back picks here in the 4th round. And let's see who is chilling here on the draft board. Man, oh man. Just don't really know here. 6'4". This guy actually had a decent season with the Windsor Spitfires. Kyle McDonald, 16 goals, 22 assists, and 52 penalty minutes. He's kind of a bruiser right-wing player. Don't really know too much about him. Let's actually go ahead and sort through the potential here, as this Costin guy is pretty high up. Just don't really know what to do here, as most of these guys are pretty far out. Malkin, obviously 5 years out. Don't want to draft another defenseman. So honestly, I think what the best thing to do here is going to be to offer a trade, like trade these picks away back to back for maybe future picks or other players. So let's go ahead and quickly add these picks, both of our 4th round picks, to get some trade value and see what we can really get going here, as we could sort of trade out of this draft so for maybe a 2nd round pick. Honestly, let's take a look at defensemen, see if their trade value is low enough to sort of cash in. It doesn't really look like it's going to be, so let's just go ahead and see if we can trade out of this draft for future drafts and just stack picks. We'll go with a 3rd round pick And let's see if we can get sort of a later one from the Ducks, 6th round. See if both of those will go through. Trade is rejected. We'll go with that. See if those 2 4th rounds, that trade's rejected too. So we're running out of time here to sort of trade for picks, as the Bruins look like they're willing to walk away from some picks here in next year's draft. So we'll go with a 3rd and 4th round pick from next year's draft. For this year's draft, they reject that trade. Wow. So we'll honestly just go for that 3rd round trade, get that 3rd round pick for next year, sort of build up that, as we will go ahead and simulate to our 5th round pick. And we can honestly go ahead and make a pick here, see if there's anything worth taking here in the late rounds, as I'm not really seeing much. We have Elmark here, centerman, elite potential. He's 4 years out. Well, like, why not? We'll go ahead and make this kid's day, draft him to the NHL, 56 overall, top 9 forward potential. He honestly might find a way to slot in as an AHL player someday, as you want the farm system and sort of get some bodies in. As looking here, Igor Sokolov, man, he had a really good season. Let's go ahead and take him. Why not? AHL top 6 forward. Honestly, not the worst thing in the world to take a 65 overall player. He might develop into a low 70s, so a good AHL player for the future, for our program, or for our the San Jose Sharks sort of organization. As we'll look here, maybe look for some project picks. Let's go ahead and sort through potential, as we have Sims here, defenseman, Stu Stanton. Honestly, I don't really know with these players. 5'11", 18 years old. We'll go with this kid here. Verling, 56 overall, top 9 forward low, which isn't terrible, so obviously he will sort of develop into an AHL player, hopefully maybe even crack the bottom 3 lines in the NHL, as just looking to sort of fill out some picks here. Let's go ahead. Isaac Phillips, don't really know much about him. They didn't really scout him. Just going through these picks here, looking at these players, looking for anything worth noting. And Simon Levine, 4 years out, 2-way defenseman. Yeah, why not? Go for that pick there. See what he pans out to be. Top 2 AHL defenseman. Honestly, not awful to see. As we'll go ahead and simulate up to our next pick. As we are just looking, just maybe find some diamonds in the rough. Just looking here. Let's look at some more goaltenders. Fringe starter Joel Blomqvist hasn't even played a game, unfortunately. This guy has a pretty decent sort of stats. Honestly, haven't scouted him, but we'll go for that pick. Samuel, welcome to the team. AHL starter, 62 overall high. Not awful, because our AHL goalies were actually terrible this past year, but that is going to be our very first NHL draft, guys. Able to trade up and get 2 first-round picks, as well as Sabringo and Spezza in the later rounds of the draft. So honestly, I think overall this draft went pretty well, getting 2 highly touted prospects, as we will get into the re-signing phase now of the San Jose Sharks. As let's go ahead and look at their contracts and see who we really need to re-sign, because we do have a lot of space, 15 mil worth of cap space, as it looks like Jumbo Joe Thornton needs to re-sign with the team. 9 goals, 43 assists in 82 games. Honestly, I would love to re-sign Joe Thornton. Let's see what he wants. He wants $3.3 million, which is kind of crazy to see. Might have to let him walk. Let's see what Marlowe wants. He wants 1.8 at 80 overall, 40 years of age. I don't know. 7 goals, 34 assists. We can go ahead and offer him a contract and maybe hope he signs that 1-year deal. You want to try and keep Marlowe, and I know I really want to keep Joe Thornton, but what was he asking for? 3.4 for the age of 40, 3.3 for 1 year. I just don't think we could swing that, as Dion Phaneuf doesn't want to re-sign with us, so we could honestly let him walk. as Malcolm Carlson wants to re-sign. Let's see what Malcolm Carlson wants. He wants 1.7 for 1 year. What would he want for 2 years? 1.8 for 2 years. Honestly, wouldn't be terrible. So we'll go ahead and sign him a depth forward. Who do we have here? Tim Heed. Decent sort of depth defenseman. He only wants 1.125 for 2 years. Honestly, that is worth it, as we'll go ahead and offer him. We have some NHL players, it looks like, that want to sign. Radley doesn't want to re-sign. 2 years, honestly, could let him walk. Not too worried about him. Simic, honestly, 1 year at... That's honestly a great deal for a depth defenseman. Sumela wants a contract 1 year or 2 years at 1.3. We'll go ahead and offer that, which is honestly a very good deal. Let's see here. Offer contract for Roy 1 year or 2 years at $1 million. One way though. What if we say 1 year, two-way? Okay, we'll offer him that one for a two-way deal, which isn't terrible. So we'll go ahead and advance a day, see who accepts their contracts and who doesn't. Marlowe resigns, Carlson resigns, Heed resigns, Simic resigns, Sumela resigns, and Jeremy Roy resigns. So got a bunch of players' deals done there. We might let Radley walk, as we have a lot of AHL players that actually need their deals sort of redone here, as they do want to re-sign, which is good to see. Two-way, 1 year, pretty cheap deal there. Just getting through all of these. Brozinski, 1 year, two-way at 0.75 mil. Obviously, we'll go ahead and offer him that. Prout, he wants 2 ways, 800,000. We'll go ahead and do that for 2 years. No problems there. Middleton was a decent defenseman for us in the AHL. 73 overall, 2 years. Go ahead and offer him that for $0.8 million. And honestly, I think I might leave Perfetti in the OHL to develop another year, see how he does there, and maybe halfway through the year we might offer him. Let's take a look here at Maloki. 0.825 for 2 years isn't terrible, so we'll go ahead and re-sign him. Kelman, he wants to re-sign. Does he want it low? He does. 0.7. So we'll go ahead and re-sign him. Trying to just look through all of these contracts. And again, another cheap contract there. So we'll go ahead and advance a day, see who all accepts. It looks like a lot of these guys are accepting our decisions to re-sign with the team, as our cap space is still at 12 mil, which is looking good. Getting through sort of the rest of these signings. Again, Winderer, go ahead and do that for 1 year, which is totally fine. Very cheap contract. Sokolov, we'll let him develop another year at juniors for his overage year. Dellin, 65 overall, wants to re-sign for that 0.7 million for 1 year. What does he want for 2 years? Same thing, so we'll go ahead and offer him 2 years, get him locked up for the long haul. And honestly, O'Rourke, we could have him develop another year in the OHL, which is perfectly fine with me. Sud, honestly, we could probably let him go. We'll honestly let most of our players that we drafted this year sort of develop in the system. And Phaneuf, I don't know with Phaneuf. I don't know if we'll need him, as we could probably try and re-sign another defenseman. What does Radley want again? Radel, 1 year. Let's see, two-way. He doesn't want to do a two-way. We can offer him a two-way. I doubt he'll take it. As Phaneuf, I don't think we'll re-sign Phaneuf, and I think we'll let Jumbo Joe Thornton go as well. It's a tough decision either way. Although we could try and re-sign Phaneuf, as he wants 1.57 for 2 years, which isn't awful. Let's actually go take a look and see who the potential free agents are moving forward into this coming season to maybe replace Joe Thornton, because Joe Thornton wanted $3 million, I believe. So let's go ahead and filter here. Centerman, Joe Thornton, 83 overall. There's Ryan Strome could be a potential player that we could try and purchase. Either him or Granlund might be a good buy. Even somebody just younger, like even Rodriguez would be a nice little shout, but just $3 million for somebody who's 40 years old and who's just going to be on the decline. I don't think that's worth it. As well as looking at defensemen here, just looking at it, we could get a couple of better defensemen at a younger age, like Gustafsson or Schultz, if they don't re-sign with their respective teams. Just taking a look here, just look at Schultz, see if he even fits our lineup. All defensive pairings, all power play lines, and all penalty kill lines. So that wouldn't be a bad shout to get Justin Schultz. Even take a look here at Gustafsson, top 4 defensive pairings. So honestly, gonna walk away from Jumbo Joe and from Dion Phaneuf. So we'll go ahead and release them, honestly. It's not the end of the world. And I know they gave us a good run this past year, but we'll go ahead and let all of those players go. Advance a day here, see if our guy resigns. He decided to reject, and our other players went ahead and resigned, as our cap space is $12 million, so we could pick up some good players here moving forward, as we'll go ahead and just release that left winger. Just not worth it. He's just not worth adding that money, getting rid of some of that cap spaces. We'll go ahead and advance another day. Let's see if we can just do it here at the main screen. Make sure we don't miss a day of free agent signing here. So end of re-signing phase is today. So we'll go ahead and get into that. And now let's check oh man, I forgot to do those scouts. I thought they did that automatically. As we will take care of that. We have 43 contracts, which isn't terrible. But let's go ahead and check out the free agents. Let's see what we got for centerman. We've got 12 mil to work with here. As Schultz won $7 million. Holy smokes. $7 million at 29 years of age. That is a boatload, as Taylor Hall is also on the market. Oh man, guys, that would be pretty sweet. He only fits forward line 3, which is kind of a bummer. Let's see, Jake Muzzin honestly wouldn't be a bad shout. Only fits defensive pairing 3. Derek Brassard wants $5.3 million for center. Like, that's pretty outrageous. Doesn't even fit our lineup. Let's take a look here. Ryan Strome, $4 million. Top 6 forward lines. Honestly, guys, let's go ahead and offer Strome a contract here. Even boost it up to $4.9 million. 5 years. 26 years of age, 83 overall. He could definitely grow in our lineup, guys, as we need to offer a defenseman now. Tanev, defensive pairing 3. Let's just filter through defensemen. You know what? I might have just taken an L there. I didn't even check to see if our goalies were re-signed. So we could have taken a big L there. Let me actually go take a look at that and see if our goalies were signed. I don't even know if I can check our team. Yeah, I might have just taken an L there, but I'm pretty sure our goalies were locked up. Actually, yeah, view contracts. Take a look at our goalies, see if they did, because I didn't see any change. Yeah, so Jones was re-signed, and we lost Dell. So we're going to need to sign a backup goaltender here. Man, oh man, yeah, that's kind of a bummer. Totally forgot to check and see if Dell's contract was up or not. But we can go ahead and take a look at that now, see if there are any other goaltenders that we would sort of want to bring in, as we could honestly just re-sign Dell if we really wanted to. Although we could get a sort of lower-priced goaltender as well. Backup position can sort of upgrade that. 38 years of age, Mike Smith. 34 years of age, Khudobin. Elliot Kincaid. There's a lot of good backup goaltenders here. Malcolm Subban honestly would be a decent shout. Craig Anderson could be a good backup position player. Kind of want to get a goalie that wants 2 years or more, and Khudobin does want 2 years, so we'll go ahead and offer him a contract. 1 way, 2 years. We'll go ahead and offer Khudobin a contract there, and now we need to look at signing a defenseman for the team, as Schultz, obviously somebody we would want to try and get, but due to cap reasons, I don't think we'll be able to do so. It's TJ Brody, honestly, looking like a good player. All defensive pairings, two-way defender. He was a 4th-round pick, 30 years of age. I'm unsure of his age and his potential to grow. That's why I'm looking at Virtanen here. All defensive pairings, 5'10". He's an offensive defenseman, and we already have a bunch of those, which is kind of a bummer to see. But let's go ahead and offer TJ Brody a spot on the squad. Honestly, 5 years. What does he want for 4 years? Let's just offer him 4 years at 5.25. See if we're able to pick him up. Hopefully we can get all 3 of those players with some room left to maneuver in the deadline or the free agent signing here, as Shaw and Smith are traded to Ottawa for a 2nd-round pick, and Volchenkov. Go ahead and advance a day of oh my goodness. They're coming in big for Evander Kane, but we'll go ahead and decline that as Kane is one of our top players. Those are 2 first-round picks, but just don't want to give away one of our top players as we are waiting to hear back from our free agents. Brody declined. Khudobin signs and Strome signs, so we need to sign a defenseman here. Brandon Tanev. Ooh, that is not a bad little trade there. Essentially swapping a 3rd and a 4th and a 4th for a 7th. Let's go ahead and take a look at this trade actually. See what... So Tanev is 3.5. Does he fit our lineup, though? He does not, so we're going to have to sort of decline that trade, unfortunately. Take a look here at what defensemen are left on the board here. As we have 7.5 left in our cap space, it looks like. Taking a look here. Schultze's gone, so we're going to have to try and find another defenseman to look and sign. So anywhere below Shattenkirk is where we are going to have to sign. Virtanen, I don't know now with defensemen. Take a look here at Shattenkirk. I know he's a little bit older. All defensive pairings. He's an offensive defenseman. Can't do that. Defensive pairing 3 for Muzzin. Brendan Montour honestly wouldn't be a bad shout. Top 4. D, medium potential, 2-way defender, all defensive pairings. That actually might be the play there, as Shattenkirk and Virtanen are both offensive defensemen, and we already have some offensive defensemen in our lineup. So let's go ahead and offer Montour a deal here. Honestly, that's a really good deal. What was he on for 4 years? We'll go 3 years at 4.675, 1-way contract. Offer sheet, Buffalo Sabres. Oh man. Is he a restricted free agent? I think he is. I'm pretty sure he's an RFA. Man, guys. So we would have to offer sheet. We don't have the picks to do so. Man, that is such a bummer. That would have been a decent chance to get a decent defenseman. As just looking through here, there's not a lot of good defensemen left that we can afford. Oh man, just looking at this, I don't know who I would rather have. All defensive pairings for Virtanen. Plus he fits all power play lines too. He's a little bit younger. He wants 3 years at a cheaper rate. So honestly, I would rather go with Virtanen here. We'll offer 4.77, or we'll offer 4.8 for Virtanen. See if he will get back to us on that deal, and we'll have a little bit of cap left over to see if we can sort of wheel and deal in the trades. And Virtanen will sign with us, so we have gone ahead and picked up all of the players that we really want. Sorensen, we won't get rid of him as they were offering us 2 second-round picks for him and a couple thirds. Whoa. Buffalo Sabres offering a first-round pick here for Sorensen. Ooh, man, this might be worth it here. And then sort of pick up a free agent left winger for Sorensen. Sorensen, let's see, he's 82 overall. He had a really good year for us last year. Oh, man. I don't know. their champion status. So, honestly, wait. So it's Sorensen and a third-round pick for their first round in 2021. We'll go ahead and exit that. See if there are any free agents at the left winger position that are better than Sorensen and sort of fit. 3 mil. We would get a mil off of that, 0.5. So we would have around 5 million something to work with. And Connor Sheary would be available at 83 overall. He only fits forward line 2, unfortunately. Let's take a look here at what other players. Ooh, Nemestikov actually wouldn't be a bad shout. Top 6 forward lines. But yeah, that's not going to work. Man, Thomas Vanek, does he fit any of our bottom lines? Nope. Only fits the first. Let's take a look at Joachim Nygaard. Forward line 4, just... Matthias Janmark, not going to work. Okay, so we're not going to be able to go ahead and sort of trade that for Buffalo, which is kind of a bummer, but, it is what it is. We'll go ahead and advance a couple days. First-round pick again from the Florida Panthers for Sorensen. Oh, that is almost worth it, guys, to just do that. He only has 1 year left on his deal, too. He fits our second line perfectly. I'm just trying to think. We have Evander Kane. We have Hertl playing left wing on our first line. I don't know. As we also did trade for Strome. It's a tough decision to make. As Sorensen just did have a good season, we'll keep faith in Sorensen. We will not go ahead for that trade, as tempting as it may be. Just going through the summer here. Let's just sim to next season. See if any trade offers do come in. Sorensen again for a first-round pick. Gosh, that's just so tempting. Zucker went to Calgary for a first-round pick for next year's draft. Crazy to see. Marlowe is offered for a third-round pick. We'll go ahead and decline that for now, as we could trade him later in the season. Ooh, first-round pick for Evander Kane. Obviously, not wanting to get rid of him. Brett Connolly, second-round pick. I don't like that deal. Marlowe again from Brett Connolly for a second, a fourth, and Eric Gudbranson. That is quite interesting, honestly. Brett Connolly has 3 years left. I'd rather have Connolly on our team. This is quite interesting. They're literally doing a cap dump here, as we would actually be over the cap. Darren Helm is 78 overall and doesn't fit our lineup, so that is not even worth it. Sorensen for second round's not going for that. Sorensen for, a first round. That's so tempting, but I can't. We might be able to once we're able to see our lineups. Marlowe not willing to get rid of any of these players just yet, as Kemper goes to New Jersey and Coleman and a third round go to Arizona. Interesting trade there. Sorensen for second and third, not going to take that, as I just want to be able to see our lineup here. Mark Letestu obviously not wanting to take him on. The Kings really want Marlowe. They keep trying to trade for him, as the Jets get Demers and Orstville for Niskanen and Johnson. That's an interesting trade. Sorensen again for some picks, not willing to part ways just yet. I want to be able to sign our lineup, so I'm just going to simulate till we can actually see our lineup. Finally getting a chance to look at our lines here, and they actually have Sorensen on the first line, which is kind of crazy to see, but we'll actually bump him down. Strome is looking really good. Timo Meier, obviously, he had a really good season. Move him up to the first line. Vander Kane, left winger, we'll get him up on the first line as well. Sort of stacking that first line. Moving Sorensen over to left wing where he should be. As we'll move Marlowe. I don't want him to do that. Trying to see if we can get a bump here. Ooh, +3, but that gets that minus. Let's take a look here at our scratched Gramble. Yeah, that's interesting lineup we have here. We've got 2 centermans on the same line here. See if we move. No. Let's see if Strome does well on that first line. No, he does not. Interesting to see all of these right here. But honestly, the lineup's not looking terrible. Sorensen, obviously, is in an interesting situation. We could possibly trade him for a pick or two. Let's go ahead and check our defense. -2. Merkley up to an 81 overall, which is really cool to see. Doesn't really fit our lineup. As where is... I'm trying to see. Ferraro dropped to the AHL, which is interesting to see. This is quite interesting. Let's try and bring in Simic. We just have so many offensive defensemen, guys. It's kind of crazy. Bring in Simic, and that sort of balances that out. Rotanen is a offensive defenseman. Larson is a defensive defenseman. We might have to roll with this lineup, honestly, for defense to start off, just to see how it goes. Honestly, not the greatest, but not terrible. Martin Jones, 84, backed up by Khudobin, 82. Sort of a better sort of tandem there in between the pipes, as we just need to sort of figure out this lineup. But I honestly might just leave it at that and let you guys sort of pick and choose what you want to see in the lineup, as our AHL team actually looks pretty decent. Pretty stacked team. As let's take a look at their goaltenders. 66 overall. So obviously goaltenders aren't the best there. But what do you guys want to see with the lineup, as we can move some players around if you guys want what you want to see. Let's see if this will actually... it doesn't. Okay, so Zach Aston Reese obviously will stay on that line. Carlson... it's just really just a mix and match game right now. It's Goudreau. I don't know. I'll let you guys decide in the comments below what you want to see with the lineup, how you guys want me to go about this with sort of mixing and matching our lineup. So we have a pretty good defensive lineup. Nice to see Merkley sort of mold into that 81 overall. He is also an offensive defenseman, so maybe we end up trading one of our big boys, Burnsy or Carlson. Honestly, wouldn't be opposed to trading Brett Burns for maybe a two-way defenseman, such as like Thomas Chabot or something of that nature. Check our captains real quick here. See, Couture captain, obviously we want Burns a captain, and Carlson a captain. We'll actually unassign Brett Burns, and we'll move that on... Who do I want? We'll give Hurdle an assistant captain title. Why not? Get him sort of in the mix for being a leader. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's video, guys. If you did enjoy it, be sure to drop a thumbs up on this video. Also, comment down below what you guys want to see in the future for this lineup and how you want me to sort of mess around with it. I'll go ahead and show you guys the lineup one more time, how you guys want me to sort of mess with this lineup. Do I make some more trades? Do I sign some more free agents? Our power plays are actually stacked, +3 for both of them, which is really nice to see. Four-man power play, obviously +1s. Penalty kills aren't the best, but it could be a lot worse. Let's try and see if we move that. No, Larson. So that gets up that to the at least 0 and no minuses. Three-man PK, obviously not looking so hot there. Let's see if I drop him. Oh, no, that's not looking good. So I'd rather have that -1 all the way around. But that's going to be it for today's video, guys. If you did enjoy it, drop a thumbs up. Make sure you comment down below what you guys want to see with the lineups, as I'll leave the forwards up here if you want to sort of pause this right now. Take a look at it. I'll also show you the defenseman here real quick, just so you guys can take a look at those. See what you want to do, see what you want me to move around, and we will go from there. But I hope you guys have an awesome day, and as always, stay dusty.